Welcome to the High School Huddle West Metro Edition. I'm Ryan Aber, joined today by Scott Wright. Scott, certainly an interesting time with these groups. We got Yukon, Mustang, and the PC schools. Mustang, I think everybody knows Bronson Irwin by this point, but other than that, not a whole lot of returners.
That's right. They've got, three guys in all on offense, including Bronson, 2 receivers. David Glidden was probably the go-to guy out of that group last year, although they had 7 guys with at least 200 yards receiving last year. So, nobody put up big numbers. Chance for that probably this year with Glidden and then Braden Wisely also on the other side. Defensively, 1 returning starter, 10 new faces on that side. Alex Doty is a pretty talented defensive end, though, that I think a lot of people are maybe don't know right now, but will before this year is over.
And does this team have a chance to replicate the run that they made last year?
That's going to be tough. The perfect regular season, and then go and finish in 12-1 with that loss to Jinx. It was a pretty impressive year that they put together. I think doing that with so many new guys is going to be tough. But this is a team that's getting to the point where they're reloading and not rebuilding. So I think that they're going to have enough talent to put together a pretty good year.
Yukon is a team that made some steps these last couple of years, but people are talking about their depth over there.
Yeah, Todd Wilson feels that they're close to being too deep at every position, which is a pretty big deal for them. They've been a spot away from the playoffs the last 2 years, finished in that 5-hole, and that's really motivating this team. But they're looking at 3 guys at running back to replace Cody Hopwood, who's a great running back for them last year. They've got 3 guys at cornerback that they feel all could be starters. Linebacker is they lost a couple of guys there, but they're replacing those guys with talent. The defensive line, they're really deep. They feel they've got a rotation of about 6 or 8 guys that can go. They still need to find a quarterback. Chase Suddeth is a junior. Corbin Jones is a sophomore. Hard to tell who's the leader right now. Corbin Jones has really impressed some people as the young kid in that system. So we'll see what happens.
And moving over to the PC school district at Putnam City North, the talk the last couple of years has been the size of their line. A big drop-off this year. I think with their biggest guys about 240.
Yeah, there's not a real big guy on that line. Jeremy Tillman is really the only returner on the defensive line. They've got 1 guy back on the offensive line as well. But those aren't the big guys that everybody's going to remember seeing in the PC North Panther uniforms the last couple of years. They're going to have to try to rely more on speed than brute strength than what they have. Bob Wilson put in a little bit of some spread offense schemes to try to take advantage of the fact that 4 of his 5 returning starters on offense are all wide receivers. So I figure you might as well get those guys on the field as much as possible.
Yeah, they lost a couple pretty talented running backs from last year.
Yeah, they did. They're looking at a couple of young guys there. Sam Wolf, who is a junior, Dre Holman, a sophomore, who had a really good summer, really impressed some people there. We'll see what that tandem is able to do.
And over at Putnam City, a new face on the sidelines for the first time in a while. Mark Little had taken over the Pirates program, and he's gone, made way for some new blood.
Yeah, John Wolford, new blood in the sense that he's the head coach for the
right,
first time.
He's been around for a while.
yeah, he's been hanging around there for a long time, 12 years at Putnam City, worked his way from position coach, defensive coordinator, now the head coach. The interesting thing I think there is that with Coach Little's departure, that really took away the offensive coordinator essentially. Rob Renshaw and Ron Williams were co-offensive coordinators under Little last year, but Little was really the guy calling the shots. So now those 2 guys are getting the first chance to really mold this offense into what they want it to be. Defense is really the strength at Putnam City. Wolford really has a strong defensive line to fall back on. A lot of guys that look about the same. They're all about 6'2" and about 230, and they run well and they're strong. So. That's going to be the strength of this team early as they wait for that offense to kind of catch on with what they're doing.
And this looks like a wide open district after Midwest City at the top.
Yeah, it really does. There's not anybody else that really jumps out at you as a team that's definitely going to be in the mix. So you never know what can happen.
And over at PC West, John Jensen, a rebuilding project there. He seems to be doing it the right way, really starting with the kids as the focus of things. How are things going with the Patriots?
It's going well. He's doubled his numbers from last year. The phrase he used was we had to prune the tree to make it grow, and that's what he's done. And he's got the right kids in the program now. He's got a good coaching staff that really care about the kids and care about working with the kids and having an impact in their lives beyond the football field. And that's the kind of guy that John Jensen is. That's a little bit of a tough district that they're in, so it might be hard to put up production in wins necessarily. I don't expect them to go 0-10 again. I certainly think that they're better than that. They've got a lot of talent at the skill positions, running back and wide receiver. Coy Whitehorn is a guy that maybe nobody knows about right now, but we'll be hearing his name some as the year goes on as a tailback there.
Well, Scott, we appreciate you joining us, and we appreciate you. Join us next week for another edition of the West Metro edition of the High School Huddle, and check us out every day on newsok.com/varsity for the best high school coverage in the state.